Hello, I'm going to be looking back at those examples that we just looked prior to this. We've already done most of the work and I alluded to what I was going to look at, so I thought I'd go ahead and do it with the work that we've already have. So I've highlighted some things. We're going to look at max and min, how to find the actual max and min value. Now, we've already done a lot of this work, so I'm pulling off what we have done. The biggest thing is I'm going to look at the original curve with the plus and the minus sections that we've got, where it's increasing, where it's decreasing, and I'm going to insert something that sort of gives me a feel how the original curve is moving. So, now this is work that we've already done for this particular problem. It should look familiar. And remember I was talking that when I've got a plus, this is going up. Well, I just make straight lines, sort of as a representative of that section. If it's positive, my line goes up. If it's zero, it levels. If it's a negative slope, it goes down. So I'm going up, I level at -4. Negative means I'm coming down. 0, I level. Positive, I go up, I level, and then I come down. So this line picture that I've drawn in here gives me a feel how my original curve is moving. Now, where did the max and min values come from? Well, guys, if at x equals -4, where I'm going to have a maximum on the original, well, if you store -4 in, type in the original, you'll come out with the 471. You do second quit. And this is how I store. I'm going to do my -4, storing for x, type in the original, the derivative tells me where I'm going to have max or mins, but for me to find the actual value, I've got to go back to the original, always. So, x equals -4, my original function has a value of 471. So, let me store in 2.5. If you've typed that function in, you can repeat it by doing second enter, go back to that prior function, now hit enter, and that's where that came from. That's my minimum. Let me do for 6, storing for x, second enter, and I should have my -29. So I know my max and my min values. So in a way, I can go ahead and find out a good window for this based on this information. Let me go to y equals. I'm going to graph the original. If you can paste it, since it's the very last thing I did. If you do second enter, there's my original right there. Right now it's probably in a standard window, and I'm not going to have a very pretty picture. So now x value wise, I need to be able to include these x's. So I think I'll just leave -10 to 10. That's alright, because that does include them. My y min, these are my y values here. So let's see, I'm going to type in a -150. That'll contain that one. My y max, the biggest y value I've got is 471, so let me type in 500. Scale, we could go by 50. Could go by 100 or 25. Let's go by 50. Now when I ask my calculator to graph, I'm going to be graphing this. It should take on this form, and I should be able to see all that information. So let's see. There it is. I will be asking you for a window, and the window, your x min, x max, you go with respect to your x's down here, and give yourself a little bit of room on either side so you can actually see the movement of the curve. Y min, y max is with respect to these guys. How about that? Let's see what else. My next one. So there's a maximum, which is actually an absolute max of 471 at x equals negative 4. There's another max of negative 29 at x equals 6, and I've got a minimum of negative 146.90625 at x equals 2.5. Next example. Well, here's these arrows. These are the only things really that I have included on this. If I've got a plus, my lines are going to go up, and always left to right, because that's how we look at increasing, decreasing. So it's going up, it's going up. It says the original curve is increasing on the interval from negative infinity to infinity. Remember that 0 did exist in the original, but because in order for me to have a max or min, I'm going to have to go from a plus to a minus or a minus to a plus. I don't have that here, so there are no max or mins. So let's go graph the original here. Go back to y equals. Clear that off. And that was x to the 3/5, x raised to the 3 divided by 5. And let's see what I get. Oh, my window's messed up. Zoom 6. Notice it's increasing on its whole domain, and if we got in here real close, we would actually see right at x equals 0, it would be a vertical tangent line. That's why it's not defined. But there's no max or min. Alright, let's see, what else? The next one was a quotient. There's all the work. Now here's the lines. A negative line comes down, down, level, up, up. So I've only got a minimum here. It looks like a minimum of 6. So if you graph this, graph the original. Remember, it's the original we're getting info about. You should have it bottoming out at the coordinate point 0, 6. Normally when you talk about max or mins, you say what they are and then say where the location is. So I need you to go and try these arrows. See how they work on those number lines that you did. Okay? Talk to you later.